What sort of jackass works with torn ligaments? Hi, I'm Kirk Johnstone. Today, I'm going to plaster 3 impossible corners on a conservatory ceiling with torn ligaments. Right, today's little job. We've got to warm skin this warm roof, conservatory warm roof. We're probably going to curve it in at the top, curve the sides in, essentially curve them in, and round it all in. We're going to blend into this wall, so we'll put some fibre tape up, fill that little hole in, and blend into that. Now look at this. This is the only fault I can find with this. This always seems to be the situation. Now I understand the electrician said that he can't get the cables to feed through inside here. They just won't go through because it's full of insulation. So we end up with this situation, which we can get over. We put a little strip of plasterboard at the bottom and a little strip at the top. But that's always the situation that we've got to deal with cables. So anyway, let's get started. Right, I know it's sad, but I made a little investment this morning and made up with it. Because usually I hook that on there, but the amount of times whenever I seem to step up on a trestle, that catches my leg and just falls off. So today, I bought that, and that should hopefully keep it in. I feel like it might get irritating though. We might have to lose that. We'll see. Right, so come on, let's get this one. Oh, screws. Usually, when we're screwing into like metal stud, zip liner, you can just use normal drywall screws, it goes in quite easy. But these warm roof conservatories, the metal's a bit thicker and the screws don't go in, especially at the centre plate. Up there, where you're trying to get screws into this, and this they just don't have it because it's, you can see it's like 2mm thick. These are quite tough. Yeah, so screw fix. I'm going to be getting these screws. They've got little heads on them like that, if you can see it. Little self-drilling heads. What do they call them? They give them different names. They don't call them anything. There you go. Alright. Oh! Okay, well. Down to the metal first. See? That's it. Look. Down first, and then across the yoke. Yeah. Make sure it's up tight on that metal, alright? You just hold still a minute, and then you can screw them in. Okay, now you can screw. Oh, knee. $25. Oh. This is a lot easier. When you haven't got a knee injury. 66 bar. I'm like a crippled old man. So I'll usually do this with the boards on the pack stood up. But the fact of the matter is, I can't bend down because my knee. So you're doing it the lazy way like this. Now, when you score through along the straight edge, you probably haven't gone very deep with the knife, so just give it another go through as well. It just helps the board break a little bit cleaner. Oh, you motherfucker. Okay, I'll get this one in place, mate. Lift. Down at your end a little bit. Is that where it fits perfect there? Okay. You can see how much of a hassle it is trying to get them metal self-drilling screws in. So basically, if you try and do it with them, no chance whatsoever. You just be in tears. You've got to use focus. Oh, there. Got to use them little self-drilling ones. Okay, so see this little gap here? It's because I'm rough at cutting boards. So we've got a little gap there. Now what I could do is just fill that bonding, because we are going to curve all this in, but I don't want any thermal bridging. So rather than fill metal bonding, I'm going to fill it with foam, because that way then we're not going to get a little thermal bridge. So We'll let that go off and then just trim it back. And then once someone said to me, now this isn't the principle I want you to apply, do your best and foam the rest. But that's basically what happens sometimes. Okay, so now we're making a little channel. There we go, that's a faster way of getting them in. Cheating. Now we're making a little channel for the cable to sit in, and we'll put another board over the top of that, and that'll be that sorted out. And because I'm basically hobbling around on a bad knee, I've let Kieran have a little go at cutting these boards up here, and I think he's done quite a nice job, to be fair. There's a couple of little gaps, but nothing major. Scrim will cover them. There's less. Kieran made smaller gaps than what I did on the angles, so you can't complain. And he's helping me, so he's we're cracking on. He's cutting these little strips for me. They have to be perfect, just roughly about 1 inch, thereabouts, just to pack it off so we can get. We'll get this built out. We'll board over up to the edge of this, and then yeah, it'll all be nice and neat. You'll see. It'll literally take us about 20 minutes, but it'll be like 1 second for you. Have I told you we need it? I'm like a big girl, aren't I? No offence to girls, by the way. You've got to watch what you say on the internet, haven't you? Hope you get yourself in trouble. Kieran's getting the scrimming done. Fancy scrim that, isn't it? So now the next thing, we're going to round in with a bit of bonding all these angles. Get them all rolled in, but we're not going to be skimming it today, we'll be skimming it tomorrow. So ideally I should do the bonding tomorrow, because bonding is designed to be skimmed over the same day, but this is really meant to be a 1-day job for me, this, but with me leg, it's just taking forever. So we're going to get as much done as we can today and just leave the skimming for tomorrow. That's the plan. So I'll have to I could mix the bonding with some sealer in it, so it's low suction tomorrow, but we're probably just going to paint some SBR on it first thing the minute we get here tomorrow. It'll be fine anyway, so a little bit of suction probably help me, to be honest with you. It's only a little mix. So let's get the bonding on now, and then that'll do us for today. The rodent one. Now, this is what happens when you leave Kieran to his own devices. He mixes up a full bag of bonding for rounding in these little bits. Oh, I can't put that with there, I'm used to doing it this way. Now, what you want to do when you're rounding in is don't try and cover a massive area of bonding. You're only rounding that little angle there, so that's all you just want your bonding to stay as small as possible. The more you spread it all over the boards, the more of an area that's going to be a higher suction you have to deal with, and the more material you use as well, and it's not really necessary. So don't try and get the shape instantly, just get a bit of stuff in there first. Just be careful, don't put it on too thick, because there's a tendency to drop out. Like that. But now you can just go back and just make sure it's the right shape. Now, you end up with an exciting little bit up here. Now, it is possible for you to get this just with your trowel. If you position your trowel right, you can literally get it. So you know you're going to work into there, and you've got to pull down, and then that one just sort of go in and back out again, and you'll be able to get it very, very close, you know, like that. Or you can just finish it with. Sorry, we've got a little air bubble in there now with the wet that first thing. Let me just get this stuck in here. So there you go. Okay, now, little pointer for you. Come on side here, mate. Come on side here. Now, I'm not worried about this now because this is only a 45-degree curve, so I can get it in one pass. If it was a 90-degree curve, I'd probably core it out a little bit first, let it set, and then do another pass on it. But you've got to be aware of this. Now, it doesn't matter on this, but Kieran has accidentally overlapped all the scrims, which won't make a difference on this because it's not going to drop out. But if this is a 90-degree corner and you overlap your scrims like this, then if this decides it wants to fall and pull out and pull a scrim with it, it's going to take every single scrim off the ceiling in one go. so be careful. You're better off cutting your scrims and leaving them just butting up to each other like that, you know. All of them, especially on the curve itself. As I said, it's not going to make any difference on this because I'm not worried about any of it dropping out. Kieran's rubbish. I'm messing up to part of the game. Quite important when you're putting your curves in that you go two ways. So if you look, I'm going to go up, down, down. You know, if you just go all the same way, you'll end up making a bulge in it. And if you are getting a bulge in it, by the way, if it is starting to bulge, it's probably because it's on too thick. So just go build it up in layers. Now, I'm quite happy with how this is going on. I can skim over this. But if I was leaving big lines in it and it wasn't that neat, then put it all on, and as it's starting to go off, wet it and trowel it, give it like a flattening as it's starting to set, so you'll start seeing little dark patches appear on it. That's the right time to do it. Flick a bit of water on it and give it a good hard trowel, and you'll get rid of any, you know, if sometimes you end up with big lines like this, you know, as you're doing it, you get these big lines in it. You can get rid of them later. If you're struggling with it, then just let it go off a little bit and trowel it up. That's it. All done for today. We'll come back and finish this off tomorrow. Again, I can skim over that, but now's the right time. It's just starting to pick up. It's squidgy on the surface, but to press hard, it's hard at the background. So now if I wanted to smooth it out more, if I had lines in it, I could just wet it now and give it a trowel over. That's the best way to test. Push your finger into it, and if your finger won't go in because it's hard at the background, but the front's still squidgy, then you can trowel it up a little bit, you can get it smoother. But we'll come back to this tomorrow anyway and get it done. Okay, so day 2 we're back. Kieran's just been in and put some SPR on all the bonding. Now we're just going to go round. I'm going to fit these beads, mix up and get this skimmed. Now, I always start my sentence with now. I'm not going to put these, I'm going to blend all these screws in and patch a few things up on this wall. But I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to first coat the ceiling first. And then when I come to do my second coat, that's when I'll put these screws in. If I put them in now, and then work my way on the ceiling, and then go to second coat, they'll be drying in too fast because they're going to go on tighter than what you normally skim. So I'm going to leave them till later on, just so they're not gone in too far before I come to skim them. And when it comes to where to start when you're putting these ceilings on, you've got a few options. You can start in the middle, up here, put a band down the middle, or, I mean, there's no real set way of doing it. So what I'm going to do is, I've sort of got these trestles set out so I don't have to move anything. I can just sort of step from one to the next. And I'm going to put on this whole section here and then move to the next trestle and put the whole section on, and if that makes sense. But that's just, there's no set way of it, you know. You can go round clockwise, you can put the middle in and drop down. You can do it whichever way you want, really. All you want to be trying to do, you just make sure you don't leave any big lines, so you can follow your heel with your trowel. That's the best thing to do, really. Yeah, look, a little scrim raised up, a little bump in the scrim. Always remember as well, when you're doing your curve section, make sure you go both ways. Okay, so if you're coming up it, make sure you come back down it. Don't just go up and up, because that's how you'll create little bulges. And if you do seem to keep getting a bulge or a bump in it, another little thing that helps counter that is, rather than just going straight, come across on a diagonal. That, for some reason, really helps. I don't struggle with bulges and stuff because I just give it a little bit more edge when I'm coming out the curve, and it stops it clunking. Right, so that's what I was saying. I put that whole section in, and I moved this trestle and I put this whole section in. But that's not, I mean, you can just choose your own way to do it. It's just the way I'm going to do this. Notice the up and down, come out the curve, back into it again. And that's only just to stop us getting any. If you just went one way, basically, if I just went up, it seems to be on dead tight there and dead, or a lot thicker up here. So going both ways on it just sort of spreads it evenly across the curve. Oh, don't do that. I can see you get stuck then. Remember as well, the more you load that up, the less journeys you have to make. Now, I know you're all looking forward to this bit, and then corners where they go is basically 3 curves meet. And I'm looking forward to it as well. Right, when I get to this little point where it all intersects, I'm just going to take my time and go as close into it as I can, but I'm not going to try and get it absolutely perfect in there now, because that'll come later on as the stuff starts going off. That's when we'll be able to work on this properly then. So for now, there you go. For now, I'm just going to get something close like that. So the stuff's on it, there's no big holes and there's no big lines. And just remember, always keep the back edge of your trowel nice and clean. And we're getting to the little exciting bit again now, because we're going to come down these corners into these that round in as well. So we've got like little smaller versions of that going on down here. Hopefully I can reach this crate. Let's see. Maximum stretch. Now, you've got to come diagonal here, because if I come straight, if I go straight up, I'm going to dig in there. So I've got to sort of go diagonal here to a degree. Now with these, there's no sort of set way. Again, you're just going to have to just mess around with them as best as you can and try not to leave any big lines or big gaps or anything like that in them. Something like that will do. Like I say, it's only the first coat and you're not going to get them perfect straight out the bag. These have to be worked on as they set. I go up. Look at that. Don't have to do that. Just being smart ass. All this is just getting a little bit of farting round done, you know. Get it as close as you can. Like I wouldn't leave a big bulge like that in the corner, you know? Just get it nice, the right sort of shape. Doesn't have to be absolutely gorgeous, but don't leave it the wrong shape, you know. Because once it starts to pick up, this first coat will determine what sort of shape it ends up in. So you don't want to leave any sort of massive lines in it. You know, something like that you could work with. Now, you can get rubber corner tools, you can get flexi trowels, there's all sorts of different stuff. But as you know, if you watch any of my videos, I like doing pretty much everything with just my standard trowel. Now, you can't really finish these perfect with just a trowel. Some fellas finish them with a sponge or the finger, or all different things. I find a trowel and a small tool, or even better, a spoon, a dessert spoon, will help. Okay, now I'm about to start the second coating. As I said, I'm going to put these patches in with a nice fresh stuff, so it doesn't set too fast, because the patches will always go in quicker than the rest of the job. So just so I've got a bit of time to work with them. And then, whilst I'm doing this sealing, young Kieran is going to do the soffits underneath where the spotlights go. And he's going to do it without getting any on the window frames. Can't you, Kieran?
Yes.
Do we believe him? He's not going to get any at all on any window frame anywhere, are you, mate?
No.
When you're blending in scrims and you're only patching in, don't scrim all the way up to the bead. Leave your scrim back a little bit, because where you've got to blend into the bead, your scrim will be showing. if that makes a bit of sense to you. I'm just going to second coat it the same way, exactly the same process as I first coated it. So I'm not going to bore you with the whole process. What I will do, we'll come back again when we get to these corners. It'll only be going in the same way again, but just to sort of show you how you can leave them and not sort of have to worry too much until you're flattening and troweling up, you know. Because I'm concentrating. Singing pause, Kieran. Don't tell me, joking. Do not start singing. Flipping driving mad with singing. What was that? Some of the flipping music Kieran listens to. People singing about putting pickles on burgers and stuff. It's absolutely horrendous. Right, we go. Right, so basically, with your trowel, you can get up to about their knees, up to about their knees, up to about their knees. There's just that little circle there that you can't really get in with the flat of your trowel, because as you're doing one angle, you're cutting into another curve. And that's where, when I'm flattening in and troweling, that's where I'm going to use the spoon just to finish it. Now you can use the edge of the spoon or you can use the base of the spoon to do it. Again, there is little rubber tools that you can use, but remember they're flexible. So if a little bit goes off into the wrong shape, say that little bit there, let's just imagine I left it a bit more messy and there was that, a big blob of stuff, and that picked up, because it is on bonding, and I come back to that, it's gone quite firm, and I've only got a rubber thing to do it with, or a flexible trowel to try and get it, the shape with. Because it's flexible, that bump will probably end up staying there. So the fact that you can use a spoon, because it's not flexible, will get that to a far better shape. Right, so that's all seen and second coated. I'm going to start doing these patches, giving the patch just a second coat as well. Whilst I'm getting up there with my dodgy leg, okay, just zoom in and show them the corners. Just have a look at how sort of neat you have to leave them. That's go down into so you can see, because they're not perfect, they are a bit messy, but there's no big lines or holes. Nothing sort of left with a hole in it or a big blob of stuff dripping off it anyway, Now ultimately that will take just a little bit of farming around with your trowel, and you'll just get the knack for what feels right, what doesn't dig in. So Right, I'm on second coated. Kieran's going to start first coating these soffits now. So let's watch how he does it now. He should be putting it on, taking a little bit, going in neat, and then finishing it. Now what he's done up to now is he's left a few little gaps along the edge. So he's going to go back to the start now. He's going to put it on, take a little bit, and go in neat to the frame and come out again. He's going to put more on his trowel. He's going to put more on his trowel. There we go. And then he's going to come across the bead as well. Because you've got a bead, you don't always want to curl out to the bead, you want to come across the bead. So, yeah, Kieran's going to hold the camera a minute. I'm going to give you a quick little demo of exactly what I mean. With his wonderful tools, plaster all over the handles that I hate. So, let's just start. Let's finish this bit first here. Now, what I'm trying to say is, you want to make sure the back edge of your trowel's nice and clean. Then, there, on, take a little bit, neat, again. Neat. And that way you don't get it all over the window frames. And once you get so far, once you get to about there, you'll load your trowel up again. Just make sure that that bead isn't curved down anywhere. Okay, so now I'm going to get as close as I can up to that. So I'll probably get to about there. And then, I know it's awkward for you to see this, but there, I'm going to get in as close as I can with my trowel. And then I'm going to get the spoon out and you'll see that bit and those bits in there in just a second. So now I've got in as tight as I can around that. I'm going to get a little bit closer with the toe of my trowel as well. Just knocking off any big bumps that I can. Now, a little bit of gear. I'm just using this to knock out any ridges. So it doesn't look super neat, but what I don't want to happen is a big bump to sort of get left in place. So that is just knocking any ridges out. Now, that's fine like that. It's a little bit motley looking, but as it goes up, as it goes off, that'll get less and less and less each time you go over it. And it'll be the same in those two corners now. Now unfortunately Kieran's got his second coat of his stuff, so he hasn't got loads of time to hold the camera, but we'll try and get as much footage of these getting finished, these 3 little points, as possible for you. Okay, so seeing them flattened in, that's what those look like now, after the first flattening in. Not the prettiest things in the world, but the shape's pretty much there. See if I can zoom into that one. There you go. Now, I've got to get them patches blended in now. give them a little flattening. Right, now I've only got one hand to be able to do this, so I've just brushed the patches. See the brush lines in them. On the blend, you always want to be brushing the blend and then going across the blend. Don't come that way all the time because you'll create a little step. So I'm going to come that way, neat to the ceiling line, and then put a bit of gear on. You know, have a bit of gear on the blend and make sure it's feathered in. Like so. Okay, first wet trowel, and what I always like to do is always brushing the cone a little bit. Have a little brush in there, just helps the trowel go over it easier, and it brings a bit of fat up, so if there's any little hollows and misses, it highlights them, and also gives you a little bit of fat to sort of put back into them. Sometimes you get a little bit of tearing like this, where you give it a bit of edge on the trowel. Don't worry, that'll go when you come back up. So don't leave it torn, but it's okay, you know, it's nothing to worry about. Let's move down a little bit. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to quickly just nip round the ceiling. I'm going to leave them 3 points instead of just going over the ceiling, and I'm going to come back and just address them on their own. Just so whilst I'm farting around with them, you know, I'm staying on top of the ceiling, I'm not. Okay, so I've been all over the ceiling, but I haven't focused on the 3 little points yet, I've just left them. And now, what we're going to do is, come back here, and with my brush, I'm going to give a good brush all over. And I'm going to do what I can with the toe of my trowel. Just being careful that I don't dig in anywhere. And so I literally get in as far as I can with the toe, and I can't go any further. Now, the good thing about brushing it is, once you've brushed it, you can see where you've been, because the bits of brush lines, you still know you need to get over. So then, get your spoon. I like to put a little bit of stuff on it as well, just a little bit. And all I'm doing is just filling out any little hollows in there and knocking off any big lines. And also, I'm using the spoon because it's got to come down a curve into a point. So I'm using the spoon, and as it comes down, twisting it and using the edge of the spoon to form that point. Does that make sense? And just again, it doesn't look absolutely gorgeous in there, but it's 10 times better. Each time you go over this, it's going to get better and better. So I'm going to do it on that one now, and then the top one, and then we'll get it again on the second wet trowel. Okay, so I've given it the second wet trowel all over, and I've gone in as close as I can with the trowel to this. Now what I'm going to do is brush it a couple of different ways. Again, just get a little bit closer with the toe as best as you can. Now I'm going to show you a little trick now, and you're going to like this. It's going to be our little secret. Get your spoon. Now, what you're going to do is now not use the edge of the spoon. So up until this point, you've used the edges to try and use it like a trowel almost. Now just wet your spoon, you brush that, put it in the centre, not the edges, and just do loads of little circles like that. And what that's going to do is knock everything nice and flat. Yeah, and you'll feel if there's any bumps in that, if that isn't nice and smooth in all directions, you'll feel the bump, and just keep working on it. If you feel a little dink, 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 just keep going. It's absolutely spot on now. Now, I'm going to polish it and do a similar thing again, and I know when that's finished and painted, it'll be perfect. I'm going to do similar things in the corners. The corners are a little bit different because this goes into 3 curves. That goes 3 curves and a sharp angle out the 4th corner. So it's slightly different for these. You can only go in so far. You've just got to come down the sides using that part of the spoon there, going into there. But again, just use that little circular rubbing motion, and you'll feel any little bumps you'll get a feel from. Okay, guys, so that's it, done. Starting to set now, and that's how you do those impossible corners. Looks that mould looks horrible, but trust me, there's no ridges or bumps. It just rolls, all lovely, nice and smooth into the angle. Same with that one. Should come back and video these when they're painted really, shouldn't I, so you can see. But that's it, all done. Guys, we did go over the ceiling another time. I polished it, and I did a similar thing in the impossible corners with the spoon. Wet it a little bit and hit it with the spoon again. I don't know why we didn't film it. I think it's because the customer come in talking to us and distracted me. We just ended up finishing the ceiling. So there was a little bit of the process missing, but it was exactly the same as what you've seen us already do. Guys, whilst I've got you, I want to tell you two quite important things. It's the 22nd of the month now. On the 30th of this month, on the 30th of June, there's going to be a prize draw. I'm going to give away a Dewalt cordless mixer with 2 9 amp hour Flexvolt batteries that you can swap with all your other Dewalt tools or work on anything, but they'll power the big Dewalt whisk that I'm giving away as well. So if you want to enter the prize draw for that, click on the link in the description below this video where it says the title and it says more, click on that. It'll bring up the description. In the description, you will find the link to put your name down and enter the draw to win the cordless mixer. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I've had my coaching group running for a little while now. Now, I genuinely think it'll benefit you. If you wanted to put your name down, join my coaching group. It costs peanuts to join, but basically I show you how to get loads of work in and how to charge and get a decent rate so you're not working for peanuts. I'm not saying that you already are, but if you wanted a little helping hand, I show you how to salesmanship techniques, how to increase your value, how to handle objections, how to work social media so that you have a non-stop flow of work, other things, how to reach out to people, how to put your phone number in people's phone books, how to make new contacts, not just with social media, how to handle your Google. Covers everything. Basically everything I do to get work and how I go about pricing jobs. That's what the group's all about. I'll see you in there. Guys, you know I love you. Cheers for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Take it easy.